Hi, Virgo Sun and Rising. Welcome to your July 2023 Astral Update. It's Raina here. Well, I had to do this all over again. Being a moon in Virgo, this isn't one of those perfectionistic things, but I left out an important transit, the Venus retrograde, on the 22nd, and I briefly debated, well, maybe I can get away with it, but nah, I feel like I have to be thorough when I do these reports. So, anywho, this is a more chill month, I would say, although you never know because sometimes it might be more chill personally for you, but for the collective, there could be some major things that go down. I have a separate video on the full moon in Capricorn and how this might affect the collective. That's on my channel, but in general, what I would say is that I think a lot of these transits that are occurring are very harmonious for Virgo. Because, for instance, on the 3rd, we have a full moon at 11 degrees of Capricorn. That's a fellow earth sign. And this is going to be in your 5th house, Virgo. The 5th house is the house of pleasure, and fun, children, love, creativity. Also the business that you own. So this can be some kind of culmination in those areas. For instance, this could be conceiving children. So just be aware of that. Also, this could be like ending a creative project that you've been working on, or if you've been, preparing to launch a business, you might be ready to go. There's just so many things. You may find that love is blossoming right now because the full moon can bring things to fruition. And that could be like some love interest. Maybe you've been kind of talking to someone. And then all of a sudden you have this situation where, it might even be like a platonic friend that turns into something more. So that's always amazing. And actually, speaking of which, the sun in Cancer is in that 11th house of friendship. So you're already social this month, Virgo. And so there may be that situation where somebody that you have been friendly with turns into something more than that. So another thing that the 5th house can be is creativity. So maybe you conceive, if you're not conceiving a child, maybe you're conceiving a creative project. On the 10th, Mars goes into Virgo. So Mars in your own sign. Wow. So here's another thing. For the first 10 days of the month, you have Mars in the in the 11th, Mars can be some kind of contention that develops. Oh, wait a minute. Am I talking about... No, I'm sorry. In the 12th, Mars can be like some kind of an affair even, because Mars can be very sexy. Mars is a sex drive, but it can also be like some kind of, in the 12th house, a hidden, clandestine kind of sex connection that you're making with someone. And maybe now you're ready to kind of bring it out in the open. But another possibility is that you have been working behind the scenes on a project. So I wouldn't even be surprised if this has something to do with that full moon in the 5th house. If it's a creative endeavor or a business that you are getting ready to launch. When Mars goes into your 1st house, the 1st house is the body. So there can actually be a sense of being energized. There can be the desire to work out or to be more physically active in some way. That's just, you may feel like more, I was going to say ballsy, with Mars in the first house. And for a Virgo, that's a big deal. I think that one time I said that Virgo is the shrinking violet or something. I've said a couple of things that I got dragged on, which is, it kind of made me laugh. The other one was saying that Virgo is a servant, which Virgo is, in terms of archetypes. And, people who are Virgos got like offended by it and wrote to me and everything. And, it's like, it's just silly. I mean, both sides. I don't care if somebody gets angry. It kind of amuses me, but it just was, what I'm trying to say is don't take it personally. Yeah. On the 11th, Mercury goes into Leo. So Mercury is going into that 12th house. Now, Mercury has been in this very social area. When it goes into the 12th house, you may feel this desire to be more contemplative because you've already had the sun here, you've already had Mars here, and now you are, maybe you were even getting psychic input, but having the moon in Virgo myself, I know how I tend to be analytical about the kind of things that come into my mind. So you may be the same way, but the mind is much more irrational when it's in the 12th house. And I mean that in a good way. I don't mean like, completely out to lunch, but is not this rational function of the mind, which sometimes we need. So if you're practicing meditation, then that can certainly be something that is very, beneficial for you and definitely in alignment with having Mercury in the 12th, because Mercury is the mind and the 12th house is the spiritual. On the 17th, a new moon at almost 25 degrees of Cancer. So, another thing that Mercury in the 12th can be is studying something of a spiritual nature. So if you've embarked on some kind of spiritual studies, then this could be indicating that. And then with the new moon in the 11th house, this could be new people that you are coming in contact with, perhaps because of that behavior. That you're studying something, maybe you've joined some kind of a group and you're interacting with other people. The 11th house is the collective, so there may be some fresh contacts that you're making at this time. On the 22nd, the sun goes into Leo. And so this is 5 days later, and then we have that Venus retrograde. So the sun goes into the 12th. This is the month before your solar return, Virgo. So you may be, you've had that social time, and now you may be contemplative. Maybe you're even going to some kind of ashram or retreat center and or someplace where you're studying yoga or what have you. And just spending time alone, spending time in silence, things like that. Yeah, I could see Mercury in the 12th house, really taking a vow of silence almost, but definitely kind of quieting the mind. So the sun's going into this hermit. Oh, yeah, and you're the sign of the hermit in the tarot, so that's kind of interesting. I never have figured that out. Why Virgo of all signs? But yeah, it's you. And then Venus on the same day on the 22nd goes retrograde in Leo. So again, the 12th house. So Venus has been here. Okay, that is interesting because, like I said, you had Mars here. So I forgot that you had Venus here as well. Because Venus went into your 12th house in early June, if I'm not mistaken, and it won't leave until early October. So this is like really, big news. So what that can do is that can make a person much more retiring, much more keeping to themselves. I'm talking about, I should say, the sun itself. With Venus, this is more about if you have had a clandestine relationship, you may be revisiting this. Now, anybody who has, for everybody, when Venus goes retrograde, some past love may come back into the person's life. But the interesting thing about Virgo is that this is going to fall in your 12th house. So this could be something that you're not necessarily broadcasting to other people. Like you might be keeping this on the down low that you are getting with this person. And, hopefully it's not because that person is already taken or because other people have, told you do not contact this person because they didn't treat you properly and you're embarrassed to admit that you're back with that person. Hopefully it's because you just don't want to have people talking. On the 28th, Mercury goes into your sign and you're ruled by Mercury. So that makes it even more great. I had to pause this recording and I was playing it back and I apologize for the, whatever the hell that those noises are, when I was moving around or something. So Mercury goes into your sign on the 28th. And so this is an alignment with you if you need to communicate something. If you're in between jobs and you need to communicate who you are, if you're meeting somebody for the first time, maybe going out on a date, and that person asks you to tell them about yourself, you will do so in alignment with who you really are. Because you're ruled by Mercury, I think that this will actually be even more beneficial than maybe to another sign that isn't ruled by Mercury, because you feel like, it's in a place that you want it to be, in your own sign, where you can communicate from a very cohesive place. All right, that's what I have for you, Virgo. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double readings. These are package deals. I have a couple package deals. One of them is double astrology, an hour of natal chart analysis, an hour of transits for a special price. And then I have one with the natal chart analysis and a full-length tarot reading for a special price as well. The pure astrology one is called the Deep Dive, and the one with the tarot is called the Whole Enchilada. I also have standalone readings, like life path readings, or, with career, love readings, yada, yada. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at RenaMoonAstrology.com. Thank you for listening. Bye.